Hello everybody. So we are going to be working on the warm-up for day 16 of the geometry notes. So it says the following. Explain how to use the measurements in the diagram to find the distance across the pond. And then we have a pond here. You can probably barely see it, but it's right there. And so we have to find the distance of this pond right here without actually measuring it. Right, and so in order for us to be able to do that, we're going to be using everything that we've been learning so far about the congruence theorems for triangles. So the first thing that I can notice here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. The first thing that I'm noticing from this diagram is that I have vertical angles right here and right here. Right, those are vertical angles because they are right in front of each other. And so we can start planning, or we can start explaining by saying that by vertical angles, and then we can say angle AED is congruent to angle CEB. All right, so that's the first thing that we notice. Another thing that we notice is we are actually given the distance in yards of each of these segments. And so if we pay close attention, AE, which is this one right here, measures 55 yards. And then we also have that CE from here to here also measures 55 yards. So AE and CE have to measure 55 yards. So in other words, we now know that this segment right here and that segment right there are congruent. So we have a side and angle. If we are able to find this side right here, then we know that these two triangles are congruent by the SAS theorem. And we do. If you pay again close attention, we should notice that segment DE is equal to 68 yards. Then we also know that segment BE also equals to 68 yards. So in other words, we know that AE is congruent, segment AE is congruent to segment CE. And we know that segment DE is congruent to segment BE. So if we notice, we now have enough information to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So we're going to say by SAS, so by SAS theorem, so by the SAS theorem, triangle AED is congruent to triangle CEB. So AD, segment AD has to be congruent to segment BC because congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And so remember, here's all the proof. And so remember, we can say down here, in order, if we don't want to write this long thing, we can also just say, so this is true by, and then remember we can do CP, CTC. Again, here's the C, P, C, T, C.